Let's first start with the bidding strategies that are not focused around revenue and the ones that I call vanity bidding strategies to find out when you should use them and what they even do. So we're going to start with maximize clicks and target impression share. So starting off with maximize clicks is an automated strategy that allows Google to focus your budget on getting as many clicks as possible. So you have your budget and Google knows how much your budget is, and they're basically going to adjust bids at the point of auction to maximize the amount of clicks generated from your ads. So it's a strategy that can generate as maximum amount of traffic from your campaigns. So what are the advantages of maximized clicks? So you have, I guess, a lot of high traffic comes to your website. So if you have a maximized clicks strategy, you're going to generate a lot of traffic. You're going to maximize how much traffic you generate. And of course, what you can also do as an additional setting in this campaign, in this bidding strategy, is you can also control the maximum cost per click as an additional setting if necessary. So it can be a bit of a hybrid. There's actually a setting within this bidding strategy where, say for example, you want to maximize your traffic, but you don't want Google to go crazy. You can set a maximum CPC bid that Google won't exceed. Of course, this will tie the strategy back a bit. It will tie its hands behind its back. Meaning it won't necessarily achieve the most amount of clicks for your budget in its true form with this additional layer of rule on top, but it allows you to have a bit more control as necessary. Now we get to the disadvantages, and as you can see, the page is a lot longer for disadvantages than the advantages for obvious reasons. This bidding strategy is not focused around revenue, and of course the whole point of Google Ads is to generate revenue and a profitable campaign for your business. So it doesn't really make sense to use a strategy that isn't tied back to that kind of top level business and marketing objective. It's not even really a brand objective, maximizing clicks, especially when people are searching for you already and are looking for your services. It doesn't really make sense. Leads and sales are more important than clicks. Clicks are one element of a Google Ads campaign. Yes, having lots of clicks to your website might look good, but unless those clicks are converting, then there's not really much point in generating any traffic. You should be choosing a revenue-focused strategy instead. Unless your clicks are turning into sales, you are wasting budget. And Google could potentially choose keywords that lead to the most clicks. So if that means that some more expensive keywords are going to generate more sales, Google won't have the wiggle room to actually bid on those keywords effectively because its objective isn't based on sales, it's based on traffic. So you would miss out on potentially really powerful searches that are great for your business and generating sales, all because you're tying Google's hands behind its back by forcing it to generate traffic as opposed to sales. There isn't really an effective use case for maximized clicks. Some people like to use it because they think that loads of clicks means loads of sales. This is definitely not the case. Google Ads is a much more sophisticated tool than this, just generating pure traffic. The whole point is you can optimize campaign performance, whether it's yourself or whether it's Google's automated bidding. You want to put your budget where people are going to convert, and this strategy simply doesn't do that. Now we move on to target impression share. So impression share, as I've mentioned, is a metric in Google that measures how frequently your ads show versus how many terms could trigger your keywords. So when you think about all of the potential searches that could trigger all of the keywords in your ad account, your ads don't show all the time, 100% of the time. You can potentially, with certain things you can do in terms of this bidding strategy, or if you set your bids really high or have excellent quality scores and loads of budget behind your campaign, you can indeed achieve 100%. But a lot of the time, you're not going to show for every single term. So the frequency at which your ads show against your potential whole times that they could, I guess, times they could show versus the potential search out there, the frequency of that is your impression share. And that's based on those factors of your quality score, your bids, and your budget. Those three factors are going to affect how often your ads show versus how many searches could have triggered your ads. So again, impression share is measured in a percentage, but using a target impression share bidding strategy basically means you can tell Google what impression share you want to achieve. Now, your budget could still be an element that holds you back from achieving this. If your budget isn't high enough, even setting a high impression share with this bidding strategy isn't going to work. But if you had an open budget or a large budget where you literally had a lot of budget behind your campaign and you set this objective, then the two other elements of quality score and bid are taken care of, because even if your quality scores are terrible, Google will just push your bids up massively in order to counteract that and try and achieve that target impression share that you've set. So An example is at an 80% impression share, it means your ads were shown to users who triggered them 80 times out of 100 eligible searches. So that gives you an understanding of how impression share as a percentage works, and you can instruct Google to bid towards that impression share, maximizing your visibility. Think of impression share as visibility on Google. If you go to Google and type something in to trigger your ads and your ads don't show, then that's a missed impression. So if you type something in again and your ads show, then you've hit that impression. So that gives you a breakdown of what I mean when I talk about impression share. It's essentially a measure of ad visibility. So what are the advantages of target impression share? So a target impression share allows increases and decreases your keyword bids to the point of achieving a specified impression share, which is powerful if you want to show at the top of the page. And I guess it's a good way to maximize your visibility. Visibility is an important part of Google Ads. Again, it's not as important as generating sales or revenue, but it's nevertheless an important factor in success. And of course, you can literally target the top of the page in terms of the top 4 positions on the page, or you can actually target position 1 as well. So you can also layer this with position-based targeting as well. So it's an important strategy if you really want to maximize visibility. Disadvantage, we've been here before when we spoke about maximize clicks as a strategy. It doesn't focus on revenue. Showing at the top of the page or very high visibility doesn't guarantee conversions. There's no point in being highly visible to somebody who's very unlikely to convert, or being really visible for a keyword that isn't going to convert. So this really presents a difficult use case for this strategy. So the best use case you have for this strategy of maximizing your impression share is if you decide to bid on your own brand name. Now, of course, you want to show in position 1 at all times for your own brand name, and typically clicks to your own brand are going to be really, really cheap. And if you have a bunch of competitors bidding on your brand name and you want to protect your brand, instead of playing the game where you're increasing bids and then they increase their bids, then you increase your bids, you can set a strategy to say to Google, show me at the top of the search results at all times, outbid my competition, and keep me in position 1 for my branded terms. And that could be a really good way to protect your brand. But apart from that one use case, where if you have people bidding aggressively on your brand and you want to protect it, there's not really any other scenario where you would use this strategy. So I would probably steer away from this apart from that one use case. So as usual, you can select either of these kind of vanity strategies when you create your campaign and you're selecting your bidding strategy. Again, don't worry if you don't recognize the screenshot. We're going to go through this when we build the campaign and go through the bidding strategies in real time.